Good afternoon, Neil here with the Alternate Radio Show with my series Who's Who in Santa Cruz with my friend Manu Koenig this afternoon. Oh, what a beautiful backdrop, what a beautiful place to be in Pleasure Point. And I've got two questions for you, Manu.
All right.
First one is this. Please tell me your favorite Marianne's ice cream.
1020.
1020.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's now the leader in the clubhouse because you and Pastor Renee Schlepper both picked 1020. Second question, give me your top three things. Maybe we'll do four, maybe we'll do five. Top three things that you're working on with your campaign.
Sure. Yeah. Well, with my campaign, what I hope to work on at the next term is, first of all, affordable housing, particularly for our local workforce. We've just seen how, whether it's teachers, firefighters, correctional officers, you name it, we can't hire folks at the county. I know a lot of businesses struggle with that as well.
Right.
So I want to create an incentive really to streamline the creation of new housing if there's a requirement for 20-25% or north of that public sector housing.
Are there vouchers for that too? I've heard of some kind of voucher program.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's federal housing vouchers that we can get, and we've done a great job getting those. We've done actually so good. We're kind of on like the top 10 list for the whole country and get those regularly. But, we also need to just incentivize the private market to create more affordable housing. And one big way we can do that is say, hey, if you deed restrict these units for people with public sector jobs, we'll give you additional streamlining incentives.
Okay.
So that's one.
Yeah.
Another thing is really to take on the unfair property tax and sales tax ratios that we get in this county.
What's unfair about them?
Well, so for every property tax dollar that you pay, only 13 cents stays with the county. And it's just the average statewide.
So every dollar that's spent tax-wise, only 13 stays with our county.
13 cents.
13 cents.
Property tax dollar. Yeah, that's
okay.
And like the average statewide for counties is 20 cents. I mean,
Right.
so that's a big difference. That 7% would basically be $70 million a year. We got to fix that because, I mean, we're over here in front of 38 stairs, right? These stairs need repair, right? And I'm looking for funds to pull together to do that.
Yeah.
But we should just have more money to do these kinds of repairs every single year.
So where's that money going? Where's that?
Well, so it's complicated, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, this is government, Neil. But it goes to schools.
Right.
Now you say, well, schools need more funding. Well, yeah, that's a good thing that the schools get funded. But in other counties where this basically more money goes to the cities and the county and schools get less, the state steps in and backfills those schools to make sure that they have a minimum amount of funding, that they have enough funding. And so essentially what's happening is we're getting shortchanged state money through the way these formulas work.
Shortchanged.
Yep. Let's see.
So number three, we're on number three. We're going to go to five.
Oh, wow. We're going all the way to five? All right. Well, three, I'd say there's some exciting parks projects that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Really want to build a whole network of trails throughout mid-county. We're looking at putting a trail in on North Rodeo Gulch that will ultimately connect to some of the Chaminade trails over to Anna Jean Cummings Park, and then all the way over to De La Viega Park as well.
Okay.
So that's important. First of all, just to reduce some of the fire risk and do fuel reduction, but also at the same time provide public access, make those places less attractive for camping too.
Okay.
So
we can talk about
and I mean camping like encampments.
Okay. Are we talking about the rail trail at all?
Well, we're still working on that.
Yeah.
This is what I just pitched as a separate project. But yeah, we'll see. We're still trying to resolve the rail trail issue, right? I mean, just as far as we've got a bunch of money to build something.
Yeah.
And now, there's still issues with easements, how much things are actually costing to build versus the initial estimates. Some of them I think it's good news, but the bridge over the harbor, one for cars, is supposed to be replaced this year.
Yeah.
But basically, the only bid that came back was twice what the engineers had estimated for that.
So they're going to leave that bridge alone?
For probably a couple of years until we can pull
That's
in
some good news.
$33 million.
I know people are like, oh my God, it's going to be
Oh my God.
because already every road's dug up in this.
Exactly. That's what I said. Can you wait till after the highway is done or SoCal Drive?
In my lifetime,
Yeah.
do you think I'd be riding a train here in Santa Cruz County?
Well, that depends. Are you going to vote for a new train tax at some point? And will the voters of Santa Cruz pass a half-cent tax to fund the train? That'll be a question that comes up in the next few years.
Okay. All right. That was 4. Number 5.
Number 5. Well, there's a lot of great new laws that the state has passed that really allow us to do more as far as folks who are suffering from substance use disorder or mental health issues to actually, ultimately if they don't want to willingly comply and come off the streets, for us to actually force them to comply and put them ultimately, hopefully in a more productive space for them.
Okay.
But we need to then fund and build and create those spaces for people. So that's going to be a big project here in the coming years as we go ahead and implement some of these state laws, and that will ultimately allow us to keep our public spaces safe and clean.
I drove downtown today to Pacific Avenue. It looks like Manhattan down there. Everything, these big buildings that are going. Are we going up because there's no more room here in Santa Cruz to build? And all those like that new project down there is almost look it's huge. But is that part of the low income housing programs?
So as those projects get built, a certain amount is required to be affordable, right? And I think with that particular project you're talking about downtown, the developer helped to fund the creation of 100% affordable housing just next door at the Pacific Station, basically the new metro station that's getting built there. So yeah, I mean, in the county, it's 15% required to be affordable, but I think that it's not enough, and we need to do more, particularly for our local workforce. That's why that goes back to my first point.
What are the developers allowed to do, and what are they not allowed to do? If you're a developer who wants to build down there, what kind of is that? Do you guys police it at all as far as what they're building?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
There's a lot of restrictions. And of course, the city of Santa Cruz is its own jurisdiction as opposed to the county of Santa Cruz. So really, the city council makes laws for the downtown area. Board of Supervisors that I'm on, we really make the laws for the Live Oaks, Hotel, Aptos area. That's kind of the large, unincorporated part of the county.
In this is your third year? It's your third year, right?
Just started my fourth.
You just started your fourth year? What are your couple of things that you're most proud of that you've accomplished, that you have got across the finish line?
Yeah. One thing I'm really stoked about is our bus system. I mean, we have put in an order for the largest fleet of hydrogen buses in the entire country. So Santa Cruz is really going to develop a world-class transit system here. And we are increasing frequency this year.
Yeah.
So starting around June, July, there's going to be 3 routes across town with 15-minute headways, meaning a bus comes every 15 minutes.
And you think people are going to get on these buses?
Well, here's the other thing. We're making it free starting the second half of this year. And we've seen...
For their entirety, or just free for a till test drive?
Well, it'll be a test drive for a couple of years.
Okay.
But, we started by making it free for students, youth 18 and under. They just had to show a school ID and they could get on the bus. And we've seen a 400% increase in youth ridership as a result. I mean, I hear from parents that are like, I was struggling to find change in the couch cushions to get my kid on the bus. I couldn't find it, then I'm driving them, and it was a nightmare. Now, kids are just getting on. They're like, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going to the boardwalk. I'll see you later.
Are we widening the freeway over here, Highway 1, for the buses?
So it's buses and cars,
okay,
right? So it's going to be an auxiliary lane, kind of like you have from the Fishhook to Morrissey, where it's not going to go all the way through. You're going to have to you can get on at one entrance, and that lane will continue to the next exit.
Okay.
And then there will be a little segment between that exit and the next entrance where the bus will have exclusive access.
Okay.
Now that's called bus on shoulder, and we are looking at ways to, when we build that new lane, we're still building a new shoulder.
Right.
And so what I'm looking at is, well, how do we allow the bus to use the shoulder exclusively all the way up and down the congested part of mid-county here, so we do have a dedicated transit facility where the bus is not getting stuck in traffic.
Are we widening? Go ahead.
And I think we're making some progress, a breakthrough in doing just that from Freedom South to Watsonville. We're working with Caltrans right now to allow the bus to run on the shoulder there.
On the shoulder, so it has 3 lanes.
Well, there's
essentially.
Yeah, or kind of 3.5, 4, right? Because there's already south of Freedom there's 3 lanes for cars.
Yeah.
We're talking about a dedicated bus lane as well.
Have you enjoyed your time as supervisor?
Overall, yeah. There's good days and bad days like every job.
Right.
But I really enjoy the opportunity to connect with the community and work on so many important issues that just touch our lives every day.
If your time, just hypothetically, if your time is up as supervisor, what were you going to be doing in the future? And you got a baby you got the baby on board. But what do you sit at home and think about in my future? You may be supervisor, you may not be, and if you want, what are you going to be doing?
probably continue to work in affordable housing of some kind.
Okay.
You know, I've just seen that's such a critical issue
Yeah.
for our community, and
So you're still going to work within the Santa Cruz community?
I would like to. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And if you continue as a supervisor the next 4 years, let me give you top 3 things that you'd like to complete in the following 4 years that you'll have.
Well, I mean, I already mentioned some of them, right?
Okay.
You know, we've done a lot to lay the groundwork
Yeah.
for new housing in the county. I mean, we just overhauled our own general plan here. And an example of how that's starting to come to fruition, you know, the empty lot at the corner of 41st and SoCal?
Yeah.
So that was being planned for a Nissan dealership.
Right.
Now we're looking at it for over 100 units of affordable housing.
Okay.
And with a little park and stuff, it could be really nice to lead into the whole discretion brewing area.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I've never met anybody that's got an affordable house. That's, you know, and
Right.
I just got a great deal on an affordable house. I got great financing. I haven't met anybody yet.
Well, that's what we got to change, Neil.
Okay, I'm going to change it now. All right, great.
Yeah.
Hey, Manu, thanks for your service to the community.
My pleasure.
I think you've personally done a great job, and we appreciate the time you've given us coming on the show with me and TC, and we wish you all the very best in the future.
Thank you so much, Neil.